Good morning, good morning, good morning, or whenever you come across this daily news report, I have some big stories that I want to go over with you. President Trump opens up about the U.S. border crisis. I'm going to go over some big stories related to the Biden crime family and new investigations that have just been announced. Hunter Biden continues to fight in court, and his sister-in-law opens up about the fact that she got addicted to drugs because of him and an extramarital affair that happened between them. This is big breaking news story, and so I'm coming to you early this morning or whenever you happen to see this. By the way, thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. Okay, two separate House committees have just issued criminal referrals for Hunter and James Biden to the Department of Justice. Oversight Chair James Comer claimed that both of these men lied while testifying under oath in an apparent attempt to shield President Joe Biden from accepting fault. Now, during his testimony, Hunter Biden was caught lying on multiple occasions. On one occasion, Hunter claimed that he was not the secretary for Rosemont, a company that he owned. Unbeknownst to him, the committee possessed a corporate document that Hunter signed showcasing that he was in fact the acting secretary of Rosemont. On the other occasion, Hunter Biden stated that a man named Zhao, whom he threatened with his father's influence on WhatsApp, was not the same Zhao who has a link to the Chinese CEFC energy company that gave the Bidens millions of dollars. As you might have guessed, Hunter Biden was clearly caught in another lie because the WhatsApp text thread showcased the two discussing matters related to the Chinese energy company for several months in a row. So he's lied before Congress multiple times, and now there is a referral for him to be held accountable. If they're going to go after Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon, then they must go after the president's son, Hunter Biden. But it gets worse. In regards to the president's brother, James Biden, he claimed that President Biden never had any involvement in the family business. Unfortunately for him, Hunter Biden confirmed his father was present in a business meeting. Hunter Biden's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, comments on James' testimony by stating, "The committee was so shocked by his perjury that they asked him the same question multiple times. Each time he denied meeting with me and Joe Biden after the committee showed him text messages confirming that." So you have one of Hunter Biden's former business partners testifying that James Biden lied to Congress under oath. Now, speaking of the Department of Justice, they have just admitted that the raw audio of President Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur has minor differences compared to the physical transcripts they provided to House Republicans. During the interview in which these tapes were recorded, Robert Hur recounted that Biden suffered from mental problems and a weak memory, which Republicans have been trying to confirm and better understand. The DOJ argued that they don't need to release the actual audio tapes because they simply cut out filler words in the transcribed version. But how does that explain why Biden invoked executive privilege to make sure the tapes were never released and never heard ever again? Let me know over in the chat. What do you think is really going on? Like, if you have nothing to hide and the only thing you changed was thes and ifs and ands and disfluencies like and then what do you have to hide? Why do you have to use the highest authority in the land, executive privilege, to hide that? Now, again, Biden has this authority, but it's very suspicious. They expect us to believe the transcripts are accurate reflections of reality, but then they do this. I, for one, I'm not buying it. I think they're trying to make sure that Biden doesn't look incompetent, weak, frail, a poor memory, all before the election. Now, either he said something they don't want us to hear, or he sounds old and like he's struggling, and they would rather lie than have us actually hear the truth. So that's what I think is going on. Now, President Joe Biden has finally moved forward with his media stunt to convince the world that he cares about illegal immigration. During a speech at the White House, Biden claimed that he was forced to act, referencing an executive order he made to fix the border. Biden stated, "We must face the simple truth. To protect America as a land that welcomes immigrants, I must first secure the border and secure it now. If the United States doesn't secure our border, there's no limit to the number of people who may try to come here because there's no better place on the planet than the United States of America." Now, this is what you call double speak. He's literally taking the things that bother you and me and projecting those as if they're his idea. That way we go, oh, phew, he's finally doing the things that we want, that we care about. It's all a scam. This whole thing is a scam. They are trying to trick us, so do not be tricked. Now, I'm grateful that he's closing the border, but from everything I'm reading, he's not really closing the border. They're still going to allow around 80,000 people a month into the country illegally before they do anything. And so to me, that doesn't exactly sound like closing the border. As expected, Biden's genuineness was quickly disproven by simply looking into the details. Just listen to what Senator Marco Rubio of Florida had to say. Rubio stated, "Biden's new border plan is a joke. Even if Biden actually enforced it fully, which he won't, it would still allow close to 1 million people a year to cross illegally on top of the 10 million that he's already allowed into the country over the last 3 years." Now, part of me wants to add a laugh track after I read what Biden said. It's actually funny to me that he thinks he can outsmart you and outsmart me. Like, how dumb does this guy think that we are? We know you're tricking us. We know that you are polling at like 35% and that the border is higher on people's worry list than the US economy, which is a close number 2. So what are you doing? You're pandering. You're pretending to care because you know you're going to lose the election. But we're on to you. Now, to be fair, he did outsmart some people, but mostly Democrats in his own party. For instance, Representative Pramila Jayapal was outraged by Biden's new resolution, despite it clearly being for show. During an interview with CNN, she stated that Biden is doing the same xenophobic and racist thing as Trump, but made sure to clarify that he's not actually either of those two evils, meaning he's not xenophobic and he's not racist. But let's be real, the actual issue is that he's not acting like Trump. He's just saying what voters want to hear. And it's funny, his own people can't even admit that. So isn't that something? Pramila Jayapal is actually angry at her own party for shutting down illegal immigrants, for shutting down people from 150 different nations sneaking into the country. She's angry that we won't be flooded with illegals that are bankrupting hospitals, school systems, our welfare programs. People are getting better benefits than US citizens. Our tax money is propping up broke people who broke into the country. So I'm obviously not a fan of Pramila Jayapal. It must be too early in the morning. I should be more fired up, but just know in my heart, I'm very angry at this lady. Like, you cannot overrun the country. I know you hate America. It's obvious. You hate white people. It's obvious. But our country isn't going to survive being flooded by 20, 30, 40 million illegal immigrants. it will collapse. Now, Trump is technically a convicted felon, although I believe it will be overturned when he appeals. The Biden administration is dropping lies like rain to try to drown Trump. For instance, Vice President Kamala Harris just appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live in an attempt to plaster this new label in people's minds. After addressing his recent conviction, Kamala Harris stated, "Cheaters don't like getting caught and being held accountable. I think the American people want to know that their president is accountable." Well, we all know that if Biden was accountable, he would be sitting in jail. If the media wasn't covering for Biden, he wouldn't even be president. If Democrats had anyone with a pulse that they thought could get elected ahead of Donald Trump, you would throw his butt out of the White House right now. So enough with your hypocritical comments, Kamala Harris. All right, it was just announced that the NYPD Blue has revoked Donald Trump's concealed carry permit as a result of the felony conviction. So Trump's guns are being taken away. Now, how can a person's Second Amendment rights be taken away when he committed, supposedly, a nonviolent felony? Can someone explain this to me? It doesn't make any sense. But again, this all sizzles in the headlines of the mainstream media. Now, this was an accounting error that might typically result in extra taxes owed or a small fine, but jail time, losing your gun, these New Yorkers are crazy. Trump has always said that the left is coming for your guns, but I guess they decided to start with his. Very sad. By the way, thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out. So thank you guys so much. Now, Trump got huge news today, and it was good news. The Georgia Court of Appeals has indefinitely postponed any further proceedings in Fani Willis's case against Donald Trump. The case is falling apart. It's very unlikely that this case will make it to trial before the election. This is a huge win for President Trump and a huge loss for Fani Willis and the Democrats. In fact, it might be Fani Willis that is disbarred and spends time in jail for the way that she's behaved. Now, let me know in the comments, do you think Fani Willis should be disqualified? Type Y if it's yes and N if it's no. After all, it's been proven that she misused money for kids to vacation and buy fancy computer equipment. It's been proven that she purposely overpaid her lover, Nate Wade, to take her on fancy vacations. It's been proven that she colluded with the J6 committee, Vice President Kamala Harris, and the mayor of Atlanta. It's been proven Nate Wade secretly met with the White House twice to get Donald Trump. I'm glad this case is falling apart, especially since we just found out 380,000 ballot images from Election Day are missing. They're missing. And there's no proof that they actually ever existed. So they're either hiding them or they never existed. I don't know which one, but either way, they don't exist now. I hope she's disqualified. All right, now in some breaking news, former President Donald Trump said Democrats may be prosecuted in his next term if he's elected again in November, since they set the political precedent against him. It's terrible, terrible path that they're leading us to, and it's very possible that it's going to have to happen to them, Trump said. Now, earlier today, Trump explains how Joe Biden rescinded all of his hard-won gains at securing the southern border. Biden knowingly ripped up the Remain in Mexico policy, which was not easy to get. Biden terminated my safeguard agreement. Big deal. The safe third is a big deal. He rescinded Title 42. He threw open the gates to millions of fighting age males from all over the planet. You saw that 29,000 people from China Everyone looks like they're ready for the military. It's like I said, are we crazy or what? What the hell are we going to do for our country? Now, on top of that, Putin said if Biden is approving Ukraine's use of long-range weapons, then Putin will move Russian weapons to areas that can attack Western countries. Biden is a maniac. This maniac is dragging us into World War III. And it's either to stay in power because he's stupid or because he's genuinely trying to cover up his family secrets in Ukraine. I'll let you decide. Let me know in the chat. Is this to stay in power? Is this to hide his sins in Ukraine? Or is he just stupid? Unbelievable. Now, RFK Jr. weighed in on the Ukraine attacking Russia story by saying, I am extremely concerned, as we all should be, about recent Ukrainian attacks on Russia's strategic radar system that provides early warning for incoming intercontinental ballistic missiles. I can't see how this helps Ukraine's war effort. Ukraine is not threatened by Russia's ICBM defenses. So why did they do it? How would the US respond if a Russian proxy started taking out our early warning systems? We would think they were preparing to launch a nuclear attack. This is a provocation of the most dangerous kind. With all that ails our nation, can't we think of something better to do than provoke a war with Russia? Like, hello? Every now and then, RFK Jr. says something so perfectly brilliant, I just have to share it with you. I'm not planning to vote for him, but that was brilliantly said. Don't we have anything better to do, Biden, than provoke a nuclear war with Russia, with Vladimir Putin? So they're going to be moving their weapons to areas that can reach other NATO nations. And Ukraine has used NATO weapons to take out Russia's radar system. How are they not going to see that as anything other than provocation and escalation? It's crazy to me. All right, now in regards to Hunter Biden's gun trial, prosecutors have announced that his ex-wife, Haley Biden, has agreed to testify against him under an immunity agreement. Overall, Hunter is accused of lying on a form to obtain a gun while being addicted to drugs. But let's be honest, they probably want to convict him now so that Biden has the time to pardon him. Just look at how President Biden's talking about the trial. He just said he's proud of his son for the man he is today and blames the entire way he acted on addiction. The framework for a pardon is being laid right before our eyes. Now, let me know in the comments, do you think that Joe Biden will end up pardoning Hunter Biden? I believe that he will. He'll have to. He can't watch his last son go to jail for the rest of his life. The rest of Biden's life, not Hunter's life. Hunter will get out. Hunter will be fine. But he could die while Joe is waiting for him to get out. All right, now, Haley Biden is Hunter's sister-in-law, Beau Biden's wife. After Beau Biden died from brain cancer, Hunter started sleeping with his sister-in-law in order to comfort her. Hunter then got Haley Biden addicted to drugs for a short period of time. I mean, this guy is a real class act. Why are there so many weird things in the Biden family? So weird. While Biden flip-flops in America, he has also continued so regarding his ironclad commitment to Israel. During a Time magazine interview, Biden was asked if Netanyahu was prolonging the war in Gaza for political reasons. Now, I'm not joking here. Immediately after saying no comment, President Biden made a comment and said, I'm not going to comment on that. there is every reason for people to draw that conclusion. Like, hello, I'm not going to say that he's prolonging this war to get reelected, but you could say he's prolonging this war to get reelected. Like, dude, we can read between the lines. We know what you're saying. We get it. You hate Netanyahu, and you're looking for every excuse to abandon the Jews. Just come right out and say it, man. All right, in Ukraine, the Washington Post has reported that soldiers are being sent to the front lines without proper training. Not only do the training facilities lack ammunition for soldiers to practice with, but they also lack grenades and launchers. One Ukrainian commander told the Post that some soldiers don't even know how to handle a gun. But thankfully, we have people like Lindsey Graham in Congress saying the best money we ever spent was in Ukraine because Russians are dying. What a piece of human garbage. If you brag about humans dying, there's something really, really wrong with you. Now, I reported on this a few days ago. I literally, with my own eyes, saw videos of young men being grabbed out of their house, out of cafes, family parties, dragged to vans, and their families told, your son is being sent to the front line to fight Vladimir Putin. So they're literally grabbing these young boys and forcing them to the front line with no military experience and no hope that they're ever coming home. This war is a tragedy and a humanitarian crisis. All right, now yesterday, Biden marked the anniversary of D-Day, but quickly switched subjects to criticizing Russia. He claimed that the invasion of Ukraine marked the biggest risk against democracy since World War II, and declared that we must continue the fight with Ukraine. Now, let me make a prediction. If Biden stays in office for another 4 years, the war in Ukraine will continue as well. Trump means peace, and Biden means war. I've been very clear about this. This is my opinion. If you have kids like I do that are coming up on military age, you cannot vote for Biden. You are literally voting to send your children to fight in Ukraine, a war that should already be over. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I am not sending my child to fight for Volodymyr Zelensky. Hell no. Absolutely will not do that. And you know, Democrats are talking right now about reinstituting the draft because military numbers are so low. I guess when you go woke in the military, you go broke in the recruitment department. I don't know. It's pretty scary stuff. All right, those were the big breaking news stories. I got up early to bring those to you. We'll see what happens with Hunter and James Biden, but it looks like they've got the receipts. The lies have happened. Now we'll see if the Republicans actually have the courage to go after these gentlemen and do something about it. I mean, the Democrats went after Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon and Donald Trump, so don't pretend while you are sitting there playing checkers that they're not playing military chess, because they want blood, and Republicans better wake up and start fighting. All right, I love you guys. If you see this in the morning live, have a great day, or if you're just heading to bed, go get some sleep. Otherwise, have a great day, stay amazing, and I will see you on